The Season of Opulance has been out in the Destiny 2 Annual Pass for almost 3 weeks now, and at this point, I think it's fair to start talking in detail about the content that has been provided. Does it work? How does it function compared to previously, etc.? Well, today, I want to focus on the brand new PVE activity that came with Season of Opulance, the Menagerie, and I want to tell you why it is the best PVE content Bungie has ever made. Let's get into this. Do you like video games? Do you like Destiny or Halo? Well, let me tell you that if you go to the description of this video, for a limited time only, you can click on a link that will take you to a website where you can watch those games being played every Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember, this is a limited time only offer, so don't miss out. If you are a newer player to Destiny, you may not understand what I'm about to bring up to you, but I think it is important you hear me out either way. For those OG Destiny fans out there, you will know what I am talking about. Ever since the Vault of Glass was beaten in Destiny 1, the community has asked for a way to matchmake into the raids in Destiny. Whether that be through an in-game LFG system or by simply giving us an option to matchmake straight into the raid, the community has asked for this for 5 years. I remember listening to older episodes of the Guardian Radio podcast while mowing lawns as a 15-year-old, hearing Bife and Mark talk about the problem with getting players into raids. I think you get the point though. People have been wanting matchmaking for raids for years. Now, let me preface this. The Menagerie is not matchmaking for raids. It's its own thing, and that's okay. In fact, that's great. When looking at why people were concerned about the idea of an in-game LFG or matchmaking for raids, they would say that newer players would not know what to do, and therefore it would sour the experience of the other players who did. Sure, this is an absolutely valid argument. The last thing you want is little Timmy in your raid group who is 30 power below the recommended, and as a result, you can't complete the raid. This would be bad. So how do you combat this problem while also providing a way for solo players to engage in this high-level content? Enter the Menagerie. The Menagerie is a perfect example of Bungie listening to the community and finding a way to fix a problem without creating a new one. So what exactly is the Menagerie? Well, I will put it this way. In American sports, you have the NFL, which is the highest level of football you can play. Then you have college football, which is where players are molded into potential NFL players. And then finally, you have high school football, which is where players get an idea of if football is for them. Let me equate this to Destiny now. Strikes are Destiny's version of high school football. You get your feet wet in boss mechanics and teamwork, but it is not really that difficult or rewarding. Then you have, on the other side, raids, which are Destiny's version of the NFL. You play at the highest level of difficulty, requiring skill and teamwork that results in a rewarding experience. Now, in the middle of that, you have the Menagerie, which is Destiny's version of college football. The Menagerie is a stepping stone that gets you familiar with the way a raid would work without the same difficulty, but still requiring teamwork and skill to get the job done. In short, the Menagerie is the activity that most resembles a raid for solo players. Right now, if you are a solo player, you can go load up a match of Menagerie and be paired with 5 other random people to complete a set of bosses and challenges to then be rewarded heavily at the end. The difference between this and a raid is that you are not punished for playing below par. There is no losing in the Menagerie, as no matter how poor or well you do, you all get to the same conclusion. The difference is simply how fast you get there. Everyone has the same chance at the same loot. It is completely fair. Now, let me actually touch on the loot aspect of the Menagerie. I love the way that loot is distributed, and let me explain why. In raids, you are never really guaranteed something is going to drop for you. You just have to hope and pray to the architects that Atheon is going to give you the Vex Mythoclast. Now, in the Menagerie, you can use runes obtained through any activity to give you a specific set of loot. Now, this isn't without RNG though, as an activity in Destiny without RNG would result in little replayability. What happens here is that you give yourself a guaranteed weapon, but you are still at the will of the rolls for whether or not that weapon will have exactly what you want on it. You may farm 20 Ostringers, but only get 1 roll of perks that is worth using. In my opinion, this is the perfect way to keep people engaged in the game and the content, creating very good loot and having a loot loop that keeps players coming back for more. Now, some would say the Escalation Protocol was a better PvE piece of content, and I cannot necessarily disagree with them on the basis of the actual content. It is very good. However, I still prefer the Menagerie, but I cannot dismiss that sentiment. However, I can assert that the Menagerie is better simply from a factor that you can matchmake into this activity without having to do some outside the norm measures to get into a large fire team. The Menagerie is simple to hop into and fun to master, and prepares players for the next step in high-level PvE content. Bungie, you've done well. Keep this philosophy moving forward, and I'm looking forward to what is next on the docket. Well, that just about wraps up today's video, Guardians. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and if you did, I would kindly suggest hitting that like button, as well as subscribing for more content. I make weekly videos centered around Destiny and Halo, so don't miss out. Also, check out my Twitch stream. I go live every Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing Destiny and Halo. But anyways, guys, that is it for me today, and I will see you in the next one.